This is a series of intimate, heart-to-heart conversations with our community of thought leaders, creatives and tastemakers. A space where together we will share our experiences and knowledge of how to create time for self-inquiry, rest and play. A reverence of space, place and story is inherent to us at youtime, and we wish to acknowledge the traditional custodians of country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea and community. We pay our respect to their elders, past and present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders today. The world of manifestation and healing can feel out of reach, like it's a closed-off industry only for a select gifted few. But Allira Potter is on a mission to democratise spirituality, to teach us that tuning into your intuition is achievable for all of us if we just pause, if we just pay attention. Allira welcomed me into her home to talk about how she went from working in the corporate world, partying hard, and as she says, falling into a heap with depression and anxiety, to where she is today. She also talks about how it feels to be part of a movement to undo the whitewashing of the wellness industry, and how her Aboriginal culture is at the heart of everything she does. Allira is so warm, straight talking, and honest, and she instantly makes you feel right at home with her. And so does her dog Cosmo, who joined us for the conversation and was determined to be part of it. So please expect to hear a bit from Cosmo during this episode. Welcome to It's You Time with Allira Potter and Cosmo. Allira Potter.
Hello.
Hello.
And Cosmo.
And Cosmo, yeah. So, okay, obviously this is a pod, but we're recording it. Some of you are watching, and this is Cosmo.
This is Cosmo.
What's he called again?
He's a mini groodle.
A mini groodle.
Yeah, so poodle cross golden retriever.
Okay, yeah. He's very beautiful.
Yeah.
He's very active and he's very interested in what we're doing.
So active, aren't you? I just want you to go to sleep, but you're not going to, so that's great.
Yeah. So that if you guys hear like funny noises in the background and whatnot.
It's just Cosmo.
It's just Cosmo. Yeah, he's doing his thing here. Yeah. Allira, back to you. Like, thank you so much for inviting us into your home.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming down. It's so nice doing this like in my house.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's so nice, and it's so cool to meet people in their own space too, because you're kind of probably more chilled and feeling more at home, so to speak.
Literally. And the energy's good. Your energy's good. So we're bringing it today.
Thank you. Yeah, look, the moment I saw you when you opened the door, I just went like, I like this person. Good. Yeah, you can just see it. I mean, we're looking at each other now right directly into each other's eyes.
And you never get that human connection, I think, as well, too. It's like it's so missed in society at the moment.
Yeah.
And I feel like you and I, our energy, we just get each other.
Yeah, I really get it too. Yeah, I really feel it. You have this amazing sense of presence, which is really, really beautiful to see.
I love. That's good. Self-awareness as well too.
Yeah. You're really, I mean, we have at youtime, we have a thing, one of our taglines, it's like check into the moment, because we really believe in that being in the moment and being present and being aware is like one of the keys to happiness.
Yeah.
And you sort of exude that.
I love that. That's good. That's good to hear. Then I'm doing my job then.
You'll get lots of compliments during this pod, that's for sure.
Great. My ego will love it.
Yeah, but I say it how it is too. Like absolutely. And we had just a little chat. We had a chat on the phone last night before I drove down. Felt good. And then arriving here, we've just had a little chat, a glass of water and a coffee before we started the pod. And you were telling me that I asked you, do you live here? Who do you live here with? And you said, by myself.
Yeah, live by myself. Yeah, well, Cosmo and then Harry Potter the cat. That's,
Oh, is it Harry Potter?
Yeah, Harry Potter, he's locked away at the moment. He's a menace. But yeah, it's just me otherwise. And I love it. I just feel like there's something powerful in being content with, number one, I'm single, and number two, I live by myself. And there's just, I know a lot of people can't do that, but it's kind of cool.
It's very cool.
Powerful. I can just chill here by myself and not rely on the validation from others or needing another person in my space to keep me like comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's that word comfortable is a really important word, because it's just the way it is. A lot of people are looking for distraction, and they are looking for comfort in others.
Yeah.
And they do find it quite challenging to be sort of by themselves with themselves.
Yes, I like that better, the with themselves, 100%, because I've got lots of people around me who like struggle to do that, and I'm like, oh no, I love this. I love being by myself, and I love just being comfortable within myself as well too. Yeah.
Yeah, and you really can feel it on you as well, and you look into your eyes and there's just like a steadiness there.
Yeah.
A real sense of self and a real sense of integrity.
Yeah.
And I know you hear this a lot because I've read a bit about you and I've listened to some pods, this sense of authenticity.
Yeah.
People calling you authentic.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like what you see is what you get with me.
Yeah.
Which is good, because like I will 100% like call the bullshit, and I'm just like straight up.
Yeah.
I think there's nothing worse than people hiding behind a mask, especially on social media as well too. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, to that point, I think it's really, it can be sad when people are feeling as though they have to compromise their own authenticity based on what they believe is expected of them. And I think that conversation with oneself is really the most important conversation that you'll ever have.
I agree. And I think people and it's all part of the healing, isn't it, as well too? Because people can go their whole life not doing that work, having no self-awareness and not being present with themselves. And I'm just like, no, that's not how I want to live my life. I want to be fully authentic to myself and love who I am. And yeah, there's power in that.
Yeah.
So much power in it.
Yeah, yeah. It's it sort of leads into a thing where I was going to take it a little bit later, but talking about success, you're successful. You have a successful business. Hello, Cosmo. Just come up, just give me a kiss here.
A little kiss, Cosy.
That's the noise. He's licking my face now.
He's such a happy dog.
He's just happy that he can be on the conversation.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, success, and obviously, you have your own business now. It's something that you manifested for yourself and made that happen. And that with it brings, financial success. You have your own home and your bank account is full. And a lot of people define success as that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think you see it a little bit differently, don't you?
Yes, I
Yeah.
do.
Do you want to explain that?
Yeah, I completely see it so differently. And I had this conversation with multiple different people, because they're like, you're so successful. You've done this and you've done that. And I'm like, yeah, I have. It's kind of cool. It's great. It's amazing. But I think it sort of stems from, I grew up with a single mum and we grew up really poor.
Right.
We didn't have a lot. And so when people ask me what is success, what defines you as successful, I'm like, it's just, I'm living, I'm here, all my bills are paid up to date. I don't care about money. It's there. It's a number for me at the end of the day. The success is me showing up in the world and being like my fully authentic self. It's being like that representation as well too, as a Black woman, as a queer woman. I think that's really powerful. But the success is like, I'm just showing up every day.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people can be like, oh, success to them is when they've got that $1 million in their bank account. And I'm like, nah, I could not care less. This is like, the success is literally like right now. Like, I'm so happy and I'm so content.
Yeah.
Life's good.
Yeah, and you really feel that.
Yeah.
I know you're not just saying that. That's like for sure, right? It's just like coming through your eyes. It's fantastic. Yeah. Cosmo here's having a bit of a nip again.
Yeah. You got to relax, mate.
Yeah. Hey, no, and I think that's really important. I think that a lot of people gauge their success on, material. How many properties do I own? Do I own a property? How much money do I have in the bank? What clothes am I wearing? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas for me, and I think for you as well, success is based on that. It is based on how you feel and also a gratefulness.
Yeah.
Being grateful, I think, personally is like such a rich thing.
Yeah.
Because if you're grateful for what you have, even if you're very, very poor and you don't have like a lot of material things, if you're grateful for what you have, you're richer than some really wealthy people. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I guess there is some like comfort in knowing that I've got money and whatever, but it's just like, oh, it does not define me at all. No way. The success is like right here with Cosmo on my couch. Just like, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were having a little bit of a chat prior to starting the conversation here, and you were talking about like as recent as like 12 months ago, you were going through some mental health issues. Yeah. Are you happy to talk about that?
I mean, I was like going through a pretty like toxic breakup, and I just sort of fell into a little bit of a heap just with my anxiety and depression. And I have a history, like I have an anxiety disorder, and I'm so open about speaking about that. But I just 12 months ago just felt really crappy. Just didn't want to be here, just didn't understand like what's my purpose and all that sort of stuff. And one day I saw my psych and they sort of said, you should get a dog. And I was like, I have a cat. That's enough. Like, that's enough. It's a big responsibility, animals, and I don't have time for one. And I, like, that night came home and sort of did a meditation, and I just sort of said to the universe internally, I was like, well, if now's the right time for you to, like, gift me a dog, if you think it's going to give me purpose and, like, help with my mental well-being, then do it. Next day, little Cosmo popped up on my, I don't know, where I was, like, scrolling. But yeah, he was for sale, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll go and suss this little dog. And then I met him, and I was like, this is my man. He's coming home with me. So hence his name is Cosmo, because cosmos, the universe. Yeah, I was gifted little Cosmo. Yeah, and he just sort of gave me that purpose to get up every like morning. I had a purpose to make sure that he was fed and he was walked and he was loved and he was cared for, and he just brought a new energy into the house, and him and the cat get along great. So it's like we're this little family. So look, he's coming right up to me now. He knows.
He's just been licking my ear. If you heard some funny noises in the background and a little giggle from me.
But he's such, he brings me so much joy. And love. Yeah,
he's really cool. And I mean, you talk about he's spicing things up here. He's funny.
He really is.
Yeah, he's really cute.
Sit down. Sit. Good boy.
I'm a massive believer in manifestation. How would you describe manifestation?
I think I sort of like dumb it down. And I know it sounds like really wild, but I dumb it down for like my clients, because I think it is so saturated at the moment on social media. Like, manifest anything that you want.
It's a big thing, is it? Yeah.
It's a big thing. It's like a real buzzword as well too. Right. And I sort of say to my clients, I'm like, think of manifesting as you sort of creating your own reality and really thinking about what you desire in your life. And if you want to bring certain things in, you absolutely can. But there's like ways in which you have to do that. Like, you have to have a healthy mindset, and you have to really understand your worth as an individual and all these sorts of things. So for me, manifesting is just creating my own existence. Yeah. And just understanding that I can't come from a place of ego either when it comes to manifesting.
Bingo, man.
Yeah, because when I first started manifesting, I was coming from a place of ego where I was like, I want money, I want this, I want that. And it's like, firstly, we need to change those words. We need to be saying, I'm allowing money to come into my life, not wanting, or I'm desiring $10,000, whatever it may be. So I was coming from a place of ego, but now it's coming from a place of, okay, I'm open to receiving.
That is the key.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's like, that is where the money's at, because
literally.
I love that you use the word, you're allowing things to happen. Exactly. You're allowing things to come to you.
Yes.
It's like that kind of, and sometimes, you need to close some doors to open the next one and it opens automatically.
And I love that you say that, because I had this conversation with a friend. I was like, if you want things to drop into your life, you have to create space. So if that means cutting off a friendship, that's fine.
Yeah.
Sometimes you outgrow people. You're creating space for new people to come on in. Or whatever it may be, even if it's like wanting to step up in your career, you might have to quit your job in order to get to that next phase in your life. Create the space for it.
Yeah.
Powerful.
Love it. It's
So
very powerful.
powerful.
We've got big smiles on our face here, both of us. Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah, man. And it is so true, right? It's really that, that being brave enough to let go of things. You might have worked for a long time for something and, you've like, oh, I'm afraid of letting go because maybe that's, part of my identity and whatnot. But if it's not making you feel good, that's the trigger, right?
Yeah,
like you got to listen to that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, in order for me to manifest my whole like career, I had to quit my 9-to-5 corporate job.
Yeah.
And it was scary because I quit during a pandemic.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I have to create space for it though.
Yeah.
And everything opened up, which is cool.
Yeah. And I think that has that, it comes back to like truly believing and having faith in yourself, and also faith in the universe. That if you do put it out there, and I love that, you say that you put it out there and it will come.
It will, yeah.
And it can be a bit like, I think maybe some people listening and go, yeah, sure. Like everyone says that, like put it out there and it will come to you. But it actually does.
It does.
Yeah. I'm very much a massive believer in manifestation and practice it all the time.
Yeah.
And my wife is a bit of a witch. She'll be giggling now when she hears this. Yeah, she is very, very intuitive. It's how we met. It's kind of how most things in our lives have happened.
Yeah.
But it's also, being in that space where you do allow to let things go, let people go, let your job go.
Exactly.
You've probably been called like, are you crazy?
And I'm like, yep, I absolutely am.
Totally, and love it, right?
Exactly. Why do I want to fit into a box?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
And crazy for other people might be just completely normal for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
I think that's something that we really, both you and I, want to sort of empower people with in a way, is that like, crazy is only crazy if you think it's crazy yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess my whole career is like founded on empowering people and individuals to just become the best versions of themselves, whether that's from a place of body positivity, whether that's from a place of people understanding their intuition more, getting a little bit more spiritual, whatever it may be. I have so many different avenues. And I am a trained Reiki practitioner.
Yeah.
So the energy always comes into any practices that I do, which is really cool. So I don't know. I do a lot just because like I've come from nothing and I've become something, and I want to like give those tools to other people who just want to become really cool versions of themselves.
And do you see significant change in people pretty quickly? Or
I mean, and it's as simple as like me doing, like every day I'll put cards up on my stories and people can just choose a card, and it'll be a couple of weeks later someone will message me and be like, oh, I chose this card and like that really empowered me to just do better or just meditate. And I'm like, cool, I'm doing my job. It's as simple as that.
I just saw a boomerang tattoo on your hand.
Yes, I have a boomerang tattoo on my hand.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Someone thought it was a Nike tick one night when I was
A what?
out. A Nike tick, the brand. And I was like, why would I get a Nike tick?
Get with the program.
Like, it's a boomerang.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
A little boomerang.
How much of like your Aboriginal culture plays a part of that?
Yeah, I mean, well, that's obviously like my first core value is culture. So anything that I do, culture's coming into play. Yeah. In terms of like the spirituality sides of being an Indigenous woman, I think I'm having to keep grounded every single day, and that connection to country and culture is really, really important. Because if I'm not 100% myself, I can't make some pretty important decisions. So being Indigenous, I have to culture is just that main practice every single day.
Yeah, no, I can really, we had a chat about this earlier as well, about like that must be an incredibly deep connection being Aboriginal in Australia.
Yeah.
It's a whole nother layer
It is. It's a whole...
that most of us don't understand, right?
Exactly. A whole nother layer.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand.
No, it's really incredible. I mean, it must be a really amazing and beautiful feeling as well to have that deep connection.
Yeah, like so powerful. So powerful. Like, yeah, I can't explain it.
No.
It's just,
Yeah, you couldn't, right? I mean, it must give you an incredible feeling of strength.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strength, resilience, power, so much. So much. And I think a lot of people, they'll never understand.
No.
No.
So how do people, I mean, I'm obviously don't have that same sort of deep identity in my culture as what you would, but how would, this could be a tricky question, but like how do we try and find that sense of truly belonging to oneself or belonging in society?
I love that. I know society, boring. I'm not interested in that. Live outside the box.
I love that you say that too.
Yeah. I'm like, live outside the box. Why do we have to live in this like norm as to what society has created us to think? I think the first thing that people need to do is just like, honestly, I always say it, but like life is too short. Live your life.
Yeah, it is.
Do those things that set your soul on fire and live outside your comfort zone every single day. The magic happens outside of your little box that you've probably been sitting in your whole existence. And it's like, I would hate if I died tomorrow and I wasn't living as what I'm living right now.
Yeah.
If I was still in my corporate 9-to-5 job, boring, like... What the hell? I mean, that's great if people want to live inside that like box, but are you really living or are you just surviving?
Ooh, that's a question for you out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we should all ask ourselves constantly.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Every day I'm waking up and I'm like, okay, like what can I do? What's something that's going to fill my cup? What's something that's going to set my soul on fire today? Like,
yeah, so good. And waking up with that sort of sense of excitement as well. It only comes from being truly authentic.
Exactly.
Like you could just flip everything now, right? You could just go, don't feel good about this anymore.
Exactly.
And just go and do something different.
Yeah.
You don't feel attached.
Yeah. 100%. I'm just like living. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that is something that you can really feel in you as well. And hopefully something that we can all achieve, in that you feel so secure in yourself, so at home in your own skin, that things around you are just proliferal.
Yeah.
Is that the right word?
No, I know.
They're not like who you are. They're not what you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they don't matter as much. You can just flip things.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really, I think, a beautiful space to be in. I mean, I said to you before, like, oh, you're so young to have achieved that. You said, like,
I'm like, I'm 21, I'm old.
Compared to me, you're young. My team will be laughing now.
Come here.
But yeah, but it does take a lot of strength.
Yeah.
And, also you saying to me earlier that you have just been off grid for a month. Like your job is pretty much on social media.
Yeah.
But you're like, no, I need time out.
Just need time to chill. I think everyone should do that. Even if it's like a weekend, no phone or something, like do it. You have to like reconnect in, because I think we're so conformed to being on our laptops and being on our phones. And it's just like, where's the human connection in that?
Yeah.
Boring. No thanks.
It's quite jarring sometimes, where you just see how much we are distracting ourselves from our own thoughts.
Exactly.
Our own heads.
And what's in front of us as well too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we do. We tend to, and I mean, I know that I've been sort of, I've done it myself in my own life as well, where you just sort of, get on this treadmill and you kind of run. And I think that that's something that COVID has done, which has been kind of good. It's kind of said like, sit down with yourself for a while.
Yes.
Jump off.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had this conversation with someone about the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
How uncomfortable, how traumatizing. But also like I've seen the beauty in it. I know it sounds crazy, but it made me stop and it made me slow down and it made me be more present in my existence. Because I had to be sitting in my thoughts and I had to be just uncomfortable with not being in control as well too.
Yeah.
So I think like I've had massive growth the last 2 years with the whole like pandemic and everything. Yeah.
I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
It's been, I mean, it's caused a lot of pain and it's been really hard for a lot of us and it's been a terrible thing. But I think you hear that more and more now. Like people go like, actually, it was kind of cool because
Yeah.
growth, right?
Yeah.
And I think good for us as a race or as humankind that we sort of realize we're actually not really in control, even though we try and control our environment.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So true.
Yeah.
So true.
So, I mean, it comes back again to one of the really sort of core maybe forces in how we evolve as people. It comes down to that intuition. And it's something that I think we're all gifted with. Some of us don't trust it or some of us don't know what it is when they're feeling intuitive or how to act on it. You do. I do.
Yeah.
How can we explain intuition and acting on your intuition and the kind of fear of doing the right or wrong thing?
Yeah. I love this question because I get it a lot.
You
like,
do,
what
yeah.
is intuition? How do I tap into it? And I think the best like advice that I give to people and my clients is like, just pause and feel into your intuition. It's like a feeling and you know if it's good or not. Because I think people are like, oh, but it's like my anxiety talking. And I'm like, then pause. Because if it's your anxiety, it's a rushed thing.
Yeah.
Pause and listen and feel into that intuition. It's powerful stuff. And you can utilize your intuition every single day.
Yeah.
Decisions, spirituality, life, whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like a spiritual compass.
Yeah.
It's like your compass.
It's like an everyday compass for me.
Yeah.
Literally.
I think you have this, some people will call it like a bullshit filter,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Where you go like, hang on, this doesn't feel good.
Yes.
Then you just don't go there, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And that's why I'm always like, just pause and listen. Listen to that intuition. Feel into it. And like exactly that. And for me, it's almost like if anything's like a half-assed yes, it's almost like my intuition is trying to be like, maybe that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tapping into that feeling, right? Because you got, I tend to talk to it like this. One part of it is your gut. The other is your head.
Yeah.
And they don't always speak the same language, right?
Yeah, no.
The head can get in there and mess things up all the time. For me, it's like, it really is just that kind of, and I love that you say to pause and actually consider, how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
How does this person make me feel?
Exactly.
And if it makes you feel good, do it. Even if the brain is going, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
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 100%.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you mentioned something before, and this might come back to a little bit of your culture as well. You talked about, you've mentioned the word, if I die, feeling that way, if I was to die tomorrow. And is that something that you live with? So do you live with death? And I know this is really deep, but this is what it's all about, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you live with that reality?
As in, like, if I am going to, like, die tomorrow, then I need to be, like, living my absolute best existence.
Yeah. Because a lot of people, I mean, a lot of us, death is a scary thing, right? It's really, we don't want to think about it. We don't want to talk about it. We try to push it away.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the distraction that we participate in is based on that fear of death and fear of dying.
Yeah. No, I love talking about death, and maybe that's really morbid of me, but like my mum died when I was 17, and I feel like that brought a whole new wave of understanding that like life and death, it's like powerful and beautiful in itself, and like I need to live my life because if I did die tomorrow, I want to make sure that I've achieved like so much and like really just thrived in this world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually think it's really healthy
Yeah.
to do that. I'm not a practicing, there's a Buddha sitting there. Okay. Yeah, so
that was my mum's.
Yeah. No, you're joking.
Yeah, that's
so
my mum's.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a little thing here before, didn't we? When I went like, oh, this bowl. I was really attracted to it. And you said it was your mum's, right?
I was like, it was my mum's.
Your mum's around.
Yeah, she's
here.
like, she's really yeah. Really, like, I can ask for messages from her and I'm like, are you around? Yep. Get little messages, which is cool.
Yeah, and you're 100% like, I mean, that is just the way it is, right? I mean, I can feel it as well.
Yeah.
For sure. It's really interesting coming into Allira's space because you do instantly, there was this sort of heightened feeling of connection and spirituality, and there's this essence in the house, which is really, really beautiful. It's really heightened mine as well.
I love that.
Yeah.
Good.
You are a bit of a witch. I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it's so good. And you really, really feel it. And I think that, just getting back to death and dying, I think that that's something that it really, if you're honest with yourself, like we will die one day. Like there's nothing surer, right?
Yeah.
So what do you want to say to yourself that day you die? What do you want to be able to, what's that conversation you want to have with yourself?
I think the conversation, I think it would just be like an internal one to be like, you've done everything that you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And you've lived and you've seen and you've experienced.
Yeah.
That's probably the conversation that I'll have with myself.
Yeah.
And just be okay with it. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because you just got to live.
Yeah.
You really do. Like, and I've got lots of friends and I love my friends and they're so beautiful, but they do fit into that societal norm of marriage and kids. And I mean, that's so beautiful, but also like I was looking at trips last night. I'm like, I'm going to go away for a month. I want to travel through like India and Thailand and Cambodia. And my mates are like, what? And I was like, why not?
Yeah.
Life's too short.
Yeah.
I don't want to like not live.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's here to experience, isn't it? And I mean, I get a fantastic sense of purpose from you as well, that you genuinely, because I feel the same, and youtime, our company, it's all about that. It's really empowerment and this liberation, that people can just feel free from the shackles of society, right? Just like row your boat the way you want to row it.
Exactly.
And exactly where you want to row it. As long as you're kind.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a big one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you feel that with you. I mean,
Kindness.
you really want to be, I mean, what you're doing, there's this purpose of kindness and giving, and I think that's what really is a driver, isn't it? When you really feel as though you can impact people's lives.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, we're in the same space.
We're in like exact same space.
Yeah. So how does, when you were taking your time off now, that month that you took off, how did that look for you? What did you do?
What did I do? I just literally haven't really told anyone. I just like rested and nourished and reset because that's all I needed to just tell the world.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It was just me time. Yeah.
Or you time.
Me time.
We can't say me time because that's in the self, but like
Yeah.
Yeah, like taking you time just to like do exactly what made you feel great. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, we're I know that you're very passionate about the way that wellness looks. So are we. We actually don't use, at youtime, we don't use the word wellness. We think it's actually become that kind of toxic.
Yeah.
Right?
We said that before. Yeah.
Yeah. We use well-being.
Yeah.
Because we believe that also it really adds into not just like what you do, but how you feel mentally and spiritually and all those things.
Yeah.
What gripe do you have with the wellness wellness, like the cliche word wellness? What is it
Where do
that
I
bothers
begin?
you?
Well, firstly, the space is so whitewashed.
Yeah.
And it needs to change. And I hope that I've been that point of difference the last couple of years to be like diversity, inclusion, cultural safety and awareness is really important. And that needs to be brought to the table.
When you say cultural safety,
yeah,
what is your definition of that?
I want to walk into yoga spaces and know that it's a safe space for me to practice in.
Right.
I want a plaque of acknowledgement of country on that wall so I know that I'm walking into a safe space.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that the practitioners have cultural awareness around the practices that they're using as well too. Because I don't think people understand, like, everyone just rocks up to a yoga class and that's it. And it's like, okay, but where did yoga originate from?
Yeah.
It's in Indian practice and it's a very like deep cultural practice as well too, and it's very spiritual. So I'm wanting to walk into these spaces wanting people just to have a bit of education around like where do things actually come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very beautiful.
Yeah. So I think that's important. The wellness space is so intense, isn't it? It is toxic in a way because I think that a lot of people in that space think that you need to be this wholesome, like vegan and you have to just not have any processed foods and do this and do that. And I'm like, I am far from that because I'm all about balance.
Yeah.
And that should be you looking after your well-being. So if I want to go and have that bowl of red wine on the weekend, I'm going to go and bloody well have it. And that's fine.
Good on you.
And then the next day I'll go and do yoga. Like
Yeah.
it's a balance. And I think that should be like praised.
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to, I don't know, just live this wholesome life that you just can't uphold. I mean, I tried that. I tried to be vegan. I tried to do all those things. And I was like, this is not me.
No, it just
this
didn't make
is
you
not
feel
me
good.
at all.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
Like 100%. It's it can be rather exclusive and quite dictative.
Yes.
If you're not doing this, you're not actually well.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. And I love that you use the word balance like this. It's so important. We actually have one of our key words. It's a Swedish word.
Yeah.
When we're looking at our values.
Yeah.
The word is logom. Logom. And there's no actual direct translation for it. But it actually means not too much.
Yeah.
Not too little.
Oh,
just
love
the
that.
right amount.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. And it's how actually Swedes live their life.
Yeah.
So a lot of people look at Swedish minimalism as a design statement, but it's actually not. It's based in this not too much, not too little, just the right amount.
I love that.
Yeah, it's really cool. And it is that kind of balance of, feeling well. I think that's what...
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel well
Exactly.
if you have like a donut and then do some yoga. Yeah.
It's all about balance.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, in life, in general, right?
Exactly.
Finding the right balance for just who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm 100% fully spiritual. Love it. I can go as deep as you want to go, but also like I love to have a little party as well too. Like I'm all about that balance because it's like I'm really human at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you, since you mentioned spirituality, how would you describe spirituality? Like, does everyone have access to a deeper connection or?
Everyone is so spiritual. It's a matter of them wanting to actually open up that vessel and see if they are really intuitive and just dive deep into that. I think for me, like my spirituality stems from obviously like a cultural perspective, but also like having these little rituals that keep me really open and self-aware and just open to the universe as well too.
Yeah.
I think spirituality is your own definition. It's what makes you feel good and what it could be like pulling a card every day. That's a form of that beautiful spirituality. It could be like meditating. It can be absolutely anything that intuitively feels good for you. But everyone has the ability. It's a matter of how they want to open that up and if they want to open that up.
So true. I think one thing that those of you that are not watching the podcast and that you're just listening to it, Allira has been looking me straight in the eye the whole time, which is just beautiful. And there's a real sincerity about you, which I find it amazing. And you really do make people feel comfortable. And I think that that's such a gift.
I love that.
Yeah, no, really. And I think that that's something that we should all be working on, is to make people around us feel comfortable and as though they're accepted and can be themselves.
Yeah.
Even Cosmos, even when you're up here and licking ears and whatnot during the podcast.
Little Cos.
So, hey, listen, I think what we'll do, I think it's been an amazing conversation. Really, really beautiful. If there's just a couple of things that you could say to the people that are listening, like tools for them to take with them into the rest of their day, are there a couple of things that you can, I'm putting you on the spot, that you'd like to just share?
Yeah.
Like just open.
Yeah. I just feel like if people can take away anything, is just honestly just stop trying to survive in the world and start living. I think that's really important. Understand what your boundaries are. I think this needs to be spoken about a lot. Understand your boundaries and that you can say no to things.
Yeah.
Because we're such yes people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what I want people to walk away with. Just start living.
Yeah.
Don't just survive anymore.
Yeah.
Live.
Cool. I think that's a beautiful note. Allira Potter, it's been an absolute pleasure to have a chat with you. Thank you for your energy today. It's been unreal. And we as a myself and us as a company at youtime, all of the guys were very much, when we started putting this together, they were like, oh, we have to get Allira Potter because you just align with us. We're really selective as well with who we engage with. And I know that you are as well. So for us, it's a big tick that you have accepted to come on a podcast with us. We're very grateful for it. And you know, we're big fans of you, so we'll be cheering you on in the corner.
Yay.
And yeah, let's get on with some living then.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. This podcast is an initiative of youtime, an authentic wellbeing destination that invites you to check into the moment. For us, youtime is more than a period of time. It's a philosophy, a way of thinking and being. Join us by visiting youtime.com and following us at youtime on Instagram.